So, hi, I'm KB with Nerdophiles. How are you both?
Good.
How's it going?
Man, I am doing well. What an interesting documentary. So, my first question is for both of you. Can you each just share what was the most challenging part of kind of crafting this story in a way that was even enough to showcase the full totality of the event and not just the highlights specifically? And I'll start with you, Geraldine.
Yeah, I think part of the challenge is that Freaknik was such a nuanced event and really, trying to fit all of this in within 90 minutes, it's a tough task, right? It's never going to be balanced, but like life, there's good, there's bad, and for us to really be able to capture that and give time and space for, like we said, the good things that were happening and the celebration and the joyous, but also the negative things that happen and the people that were affected by it. So, making sure that we included all of that and all the different voices that can speak to the different parts of Freaknik.
Yeah, no, I think I just wanted to tell a full story, which is the good, the bad, the highs and the lows. It's a story that takes place over 40 years, essentially from 1983 till today. And so it's not something I could just kind of jam pack in a quick little, 5-minute thing. And so we were very conscious of making sure we couldn't tell it all. Obviously, we did the best we could, but I do think it's a pretty full story that has a lot of different layers. And talking to people who watched the film, I think they're a little bit surprised because they thought it was just a party. And I'm not sure what you saw, but it was obviously more, it's the party that was never told, but we told you that it was more than just a party.
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing. And it's interesting because I'm like, I went to college in Atlanta, but obviously during a time that was after Freaknik. So it's interesting because the city has kind of evolved so much, and it's almost as if you guys make the city of Atlanta its own character in this,
Mhm.
for lack of a better phrase, because it is such a unique place, but also so many things were happening during that time. So my next question is, obviously, like there's a lot of curiosity around it for people who weren't old enough or even born yet to kind of experience it. So in terms of the totality, kind of what do you want audiences, particularly the generation now, I think, to kind of take away from watching this documentary? And I'll start with you, P. Frank, this time.
I think Freaknik was more than just a party. I think a lot of people saw that it was just a party. I mean, the social media explosion about this film and the talk about the aunties and uncles and all of that. And I want to make sure that it was about politics. It was about race. It was about culture. It was about black joy. It was about black female expression. There's a lot of things about music, and I think that it's more than just a party. And so that was important for me to make sure that people, I've been using the analogy of the vegetable and the candy. There's a lot of candy that everybody's looking forward to the party and the turn up, girls going wild for black people or whatever you want to call it. But there was a lot of other stuff that went on that was negative, that the city didn't know how to treat young African American students. The city was growing politically and racially and all of that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure we gave you the full spectrum of what Freaknik is about.
Yeah, and then to add to that, I think it's important to also realize that Freaknik was a safe space for young black kids at that time where they didn't have any other place. There was a lot going on in the 90s, and this felt like a place where I think that's what attracted so many people to come to Atlanta because there wasn't a place like that anywhere else in the country where you can go have fun and be free. And so really capturing that in the film and showcasing that as an important factor of Freaknik, really just holding that space for kids to be able to be creative and have fun and build community with each other.
I love that. And so, I do like that you said it was culture, it was music, it was fashion. In your words, and maybe just 5 words or less, what do you think is the greatest cultural contribution that Freaknik brought to the Black community?
I mean, really, the music really spread across. New York was having, I know you said 5 words, but the music, the music.
Yeah. What about for you,
Um,
Pete, right?
I think black joy, black economics, uh, and fun.
Okay.
I
I
kind
was
of
like,
gave
now
you
you only
five.
got 1 word left. So,
That was 5 words. So,
yes.
but thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I can't wait for audiences to see this. And thank you for taking the time to chat with Nerdophiles.
And the
We
name of your
appreciate it.
podcast is, what is it,
It's
Nerdophiles?
Nerdophiles. It's a website. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a YouTube
Awesome.
channel. So
For
yeah.
nerds. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Shout
for
out all the
everyone,
nerds.
you know?
Okay. I'm a former nerd. I'm still counting with y'all, but a little bit.
You know, how you a former? Wait a minute. What you mean
I'm
former? I
retired
mean,
from nerd life. I'm cool now. I've elevated. I'm messing with you. Have a good
not you
time.
retired.
Yeah, I'm retired from nerd life. Yeah, I had to retire.
Well, thank you so much. Can't wait for everyone to see it.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
Definitely. All right, peace.
All right. So I am KB with Nerdophiles. How are you both?
Fantastic. How are you?
Man, I am doing well. All right, so listen, this is my first question. What do you think is Freaknik's cultural contribution aside from music? What do you think the greatest cultural contribution is? But you cannot say music, so I want you to think about it. And I'll start with you, Uncle Luke.
Well, I think coming togetherness and oneness and peace and unity and turning into the wildest, freakiest party ever in America. But again, the fact that you get to see this story, you get to see this story from where it began to where it ended up, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulation, the politics of it all, and into destroying an event destroying itself, and you seeing the end, and you're seeing everything that happened right now still happening today as far as the business part of it in Atlanta, being the mecca of entertainment.
All right, what about you, JD? For you, what do you feel like is Freaknik's greatest cultural contribution aside from music?
The introduction of Black history to Black people that didn't live in the South. I think about my friends that from LA. One of my friends, the first time he ever came to Atlanta was I told him to come during Freaknik, and he was blown away. Like he couldn't. He was telling me like, man, this many Black people could never have a party in Compton, and this many Black people could never be out in South Central LA. It'll turn into something crazy, right? And at the time when he was saying it'll turn into something crazy, it was nothing crazy going on besides, getting to a Luke party maybe. But other than that, it wasn't nothing crazy going on based on what he was talking about. You saying without bringing up the music, so it wasn't. It was just like just to be able to see Black people in a park, like 6,000, 7,000 Black people from all different places. Just whatever they was doing, smoking weed, whatever they was doing, it still was love. It wasn't no hostile situation. And nobody was trying to go home in a body bag. Nobody was trying to go home at all, period. And I think that to me, Atlanta was a city that was open, that allowed you to come there. And you could watch movies at the time. I think they had like Minister Society. In Minister Society, the end of Minister Society, Jada Pinkett was trying to get to Atlanta. They was trying to get to Atlanta because Atlanta was perceived as this promised land to other places that, other people that didn't live in the city. And being younger, I didn't realize that where I was living was that type of place. But through, my education and educating myself and then just doing this documentary, I started realizing how valuable the city is. So I feel like more than anything, the value that Atlanta has on Black America and Black people and the Black culture, Freaknik definitely was the spark to make everybody wake up and realize exactly what's actually going on. Martin Luther King couldn't have been from nowhere else but Atlanta.
Mhm. Mhm. Listen, I went to college in Atlanta, and this was past the Freaknik years, but I think that you're right. There's a certain level of freedom that the city has for Black people, particularly in a certain age group, I'll even say, like those college age years where you just have the freedom to be who you are and learn and express yourself. Atlanta is a unique place in that way. And so, I'm glad that this documentary is out because, highs and lows aside, I think at the center of what Freaknik started out as was just celebrating Black joy and just having that type of liberation that we really hadn't seen in a lot of other cities, prior to. So man, yeah, I think you're right. Like there's a lot to be celebrated and a lot of cultural contributions that I really hope the younger audiences that watch this really pick up on and get to see. So thank you so much for taking time to chat with Nerdophiles. I really, really appreciate it. And I truly can't wait for everyone to see it and get like, kind of the full scope of what Freaknik is, not just the loop parties, but
Yeah,
something a
yeah,
little bit more.
100%.
And no doubt about it.
All
No
right.
doubt about it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Y'all have a
All right.
good day.
Thank you.